السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Jazakumullah khairan. For those who are joining, inshallah, I'll just give a minute for more people to join in, and then I'll go ahead and start today's lesson. So, Bismillah. So, basically today, inshallah, I'm going to be teaching a like personal living skill, which is money or budgeting, and this is specifically for teenagers and also young people in general. A lot of these things are not being taught in school, unfortunately, right? So, personal finance and such topics, how to save some money, how to make some money, how to choose your career, all these different topics. And a lot of these things are not being taught, unfortunately. And so, because of that, kids find themselves in a lot of trouble. And I wanted to, kind of begin the lesson today with a story. You could think and think of this as a story and some lessons, inshallah. And then I'll be sharing with you about 21 tips for teens on how to save money and make money, inshallah. And I wish I would have known some of these things when I was younger, and someone would have shared some of these things with me. But again, like I mentioned, it's very rare to find people giving you these types of tips. So I want to begin with a story of Bilal. Okay, imagine Bilal is an 18-year-old. He has a full ride scholarship to the local university. He could have lived at home. He could have just commuted to school, but rather he decides a smart kid. So he decided to go to an Ivy League school, which costed almost $50,000 a year. And he had to take debt or get into debt for that, loans for that. He gets a really good job after graduation. He did graduate from an Ivy League school. Let's just say that he's making $70,000 to $100,000, and he's saving some money. He gets married, and at the wedding, there's 300 plus guests. His parents really wanted to have an amazing wedding for him, and maybe his wife and in-laws and all these different people. And so this gets him further into debt. Now he's $200,000 for school, and then another $50,000 for, or $25,000 to $30,000 for the wedding, and this person is in a huge amount of debt now, right? And especially student debt, it's quite high. Now he gets married. He's and he's living with his spouse, and they have to rent their own place, an apartment. It could be a small apartment or a small house, and then they have a child, and so now they need to get two bedrooms or a three-bedroom apartment or house, and they have to get maybe two cars now, right? And they might have to have a few more kids and get a minivan. All of these things, of course, are loans that he has to take out to get them, right? Because he doesn't want to just he went to an Ivy League school, so he wants to show this, and he wants to get the latest and best things. And so he's 30 years old, and his friends convince him that instead of renting, he should buy, a house. And so now they start looking for a house, and now he takes another loan. And depending on where he is, let's say if he's in California, that's another $500,000 to $600,000 of debt. So this guy who's making six figures, he's maybe even has some promotions at work. He has, a wife and two, three kids. He looks very successful from the outside, but unfortunately, he's like drowning in debt, and that's a lot of the case of many young Muslim professionals, unfortunately nowadays. And it causes stress. It causes, marital problems. It could even lead to divorce. And so all of these different things could be avoided if a person was to just take it in a more simple way and used a different type of approach. Now, so money is really important. It might not be the most important thing in one's life, but it's extremely important into if you want to live a comfortable life, if you want to live a balanced life, right? So a lot of people, they might think, well, I want to just be religious, I want to be spiritual, right? I want to be healthy, I want to be all of those things. Yes, you want to be those things, but you also have to have finance or your financial things in order to have a balanced lifestyle so that you're not under stress all the time. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually commands it. okay, in Surah Al-Jumu'ah to, he says, فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says when the prayer has been concluded, when Jummah prayer has been ended or ends, disperse within the land and seek the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ, right? The bounty, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So go out and look and search for it. And then he says, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا, and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, so that you may be successful. So working and earning halal income is earning halal income or money, in business wise or whatever it may be. It's an ibadah, and it's a way to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in a hadith, which is a very scary hadith. He mentions that the feet of the son of Adam will not move before on the day of judgment before his Lord until he is asked about five things: about his life and what he did with it, about his youth and what he wore it out in, like what he was busy with when he was young. And so, especially, I'm talking to the youth right now. What is keeping you really busy? You're going to be questioned about that, about his wealth and how he earned it and spent it. Not how much you earned, but how you earned it, if it was halal or not, and then how you spent it, and what he did with what he knew. And so I'm going to share again like 21 tips on what are some things you guys could do as young people in order to, save money and be financially responsible. And I hope you guys are taking notes, inshallah, as well. So the first thing, you have to read a lot. You have to learn. You have to know a lot. And there's two books I'm going to suggest. Think and Grow Rich. This is a very, very good book. You can find audiobooks and listen to it as well. It fixes or helps you fix your mindset about being successful and wealth and how that brings success. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is the second book by Dale Carnegie that you could read. And this is more of people skills: how to work with others, how to interact with them, how to cultivate friendships and partnerships. And so this will help you a lot, inshallah, in that. The second tip I have for you guys is finding a career, learning about different industries. So a lot, like my son, he just graduated from high school, and that's kind of the thing that I'm kind of pushing him on. That find out what you're good at, what you want to do, and what you're interested in, so and go towards that. A lot of people during, I studied computer science in college, and at Wayne State University in Michigan, and a lot of people were so double-minded. So some people were some friends, they were going to medicine, 2 3 years of pre-med classes, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I can't do that, I'm not doing well enough to get into med school, I'm going to switch to computer science, okay, or I'm going to switch to engineering, I'm going to switch to health, something else. And then they did that for a year. Then they went back and did something else, and eventually did go to medical school. So and all of this time and effort that was, you could say, spent and wasted because they didn't do their homework beforehand. And so making sure that you spend that time in the early on to see what you want to do, be focused in college, and you get your degree in 3 to 4 years, inshallah. Um, the other thing with the career is you need to be good at using Google and YouTube. There's so many free things out there. There's so many skills that you could learn for free or very cheap on udemy.com for $10, $15. You could purchase a course and start learning a skill. You don't necessarily have to go to college anymore, right? There's so many skills that you could pick up, and then which is the next point, which is gaining experience. Okay, so a lot of things that it's technical or just theoretical knowledge in college, maybe you're being taught, and then you need to get that experience. And so internships, if you're in college, so get an internship in the summer and work hard. And maybe, like for myself, I did that, and I was hired full time right after my summer internship. And so a lot of people, you can gain a lot of experience with that. It's just like, swimming or driving. You're not going to be able to just do it by watching videos. You have to practice. You have to do it yourself and spend your time to do this, to learn those skills. So that's the third thing. Get experience in that thing, that whatever you want to do. Fourth thing, learn from others, and this could be part of that experience as well. Find an apprenticeship that you could do, an internship that you could do, work for free if you have to, right? Very valuable tips you'll get from those people who are already successful. So see someone, like you want to study computer engineering, find a computer engineer in the community, shadow them for a few days, talk to them, interview them, and just ask them questions. And some people are, or many of people are really happy to do that. Maybe a successful businessman who's doing IT work, see if you can intern with them or learn from them, and offer your services. So be honest with them, what you're trying to do, why you picked them specifically, what are things that you are interested in learning, and then most importantly, tell them, the initiative or what you've already done. I've seen this a lot. A lot of people don't have, young people especially, don't have initiative. They don't take it upon their own to do things. So don't be afraid to fail. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to mess up and fall down a lot of times, right? No kid just gets up and starts walking right the first time. They take a step or two and they fall, and then they do all these different things in order to start walking and then running and so on. So make sure that you are not afraid to fall. You fail, you will fail. But if you take some of these steps and you learn from them, inshallah, you'll fail faster, which will make you successful faster as well, inshallah ta'ala. So, and an interesting story. This was maybe about a month and a half ago. I was talking to a former student of mine. Mashallah, he became a multimillionaire with a different business, a business he has. And he was telling me that he failed so many times before going into that business, or getting to this final idea. And so this is something that we have to really be very, you're going to fail. You just have to try to work hard and keep going. The fifth thing I'd like to tell you today is about trying different possibilities. So again, narrowing your search, see what skills you have, what you're good at, for the field that you want to get into, and do your research in that way to get into that. Like for example, I was listening to someone recently. They were saying like, if you don't want to work weekends, basically you want to keep that for your family. Well, then don't go into real estate, right? Because real estate agents, that's main prime time for them, evenings and weekends, and so they don't have really much of a family life. And so taking that into consideration. Five was trying different possibilities, narrowing your search. Number six, take risks. You guys are young, especially those teenagers who are living at home. You guys are really young. You don't have a responsibility at this time. As long as you're not really doing anything illegal, okay, or haram, I say go for it, because you have very, very little, risk, and there's not much depending of people depending on you, and so you have that room to grow and take that risk, inshallah. Seventh thing is that you really need to learn some essential skills first, like how to open a bank account. And you could ask your parents to help you with this. So open up a bank account, learn how to use an ATM, the credit card, transferring money online, writing checks, balancing your checkbook, your budget, all these types of things. You need to learn how to do those, inshallah. And I'm sure if you sit down with your dad or mom, they'll show you how to do that. And there's so many YouTube videos you could look up as well on how to do that. The eighth thing, sorry, is financial habits. So making sure that you save a percentage of your income. And again, like I mentioned, budgeting, expenses, staying out of debt, long-term investments, all of those types of things, you need to build those habits early on. Okay. So you might be thinking, well, I'm a teenager. I don't have any money right now. Well, maybe your parents gave you some money for chores, or, allowance, gifts, these types of things. Excuse me. And so take advantage of those and start having a bank account, and start budgeting. Don't just buy whatever you feel like buying. Take time to really think about it. Number nine is to use a credit card, but make sure that you pay off the bill every month. Okay. And so you have to always live within your means, no interest. Okay. Stay away from haram. And the advantage of these credit cards, a lot of these credit cards have points, and it helps build your credit as well. So you could take free trips into different places because of the points that you've earned. So that's number 9. Number 10, the Roth IRA. Okay, so you could actually get this account before you're 18, uh, but this is a tax-free account. You could put $6,500 in a year, up to 6,500 a year, and this grows tax-free. So when you're 59 and a half, if you want to retire, inshallah, all of that money that's grown in those years, you could take it out without paying taxes on it. So this is a huge thing to look into. It's called Roth IRA. I would really suggest when you're like 18, when you first get your job, you could open up an account, inshallah, with that. Number 11 is investing in long-term, um, you know, so don't just, think that you're going to make a profit within a day or a week or a month. So long-term investments, like for example, Amin Housing, which is a halal option too for, mortgages and buying a house. And so invest in with them. And so the minimum investment I think is $2,000 now. And so you put in $2,000 and you get about 5 to 7% return annually, right? So instead of having it in a haram bank account, you have dividends you're getting from Amin Housing, and so you could put your money into that, and that could be for adults and older people as well as a way to make an investment. The other thing to do is having number 12 is to have and always make connections, right? So they say network is your net worth. So making connections, strong friendships, don't burn bridges, right? And try to keep a good relationship with people even when you're parting. And so that's really important. Number 13, having a passive income. So use your money to make more money, invest in different options and different things. Again, look for halal things to invest in. Look for halal companies that you can invest in. There's different apps and different information that you could use for that. But even like $10, $15 a week or $100 a month or something simple like that, it could pay off big time. Imagine, like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, someone invested even $100 or $200 in Bitcoin. They would be probably millionaires now, right? So there's a lot of different things you could get into as investment wise and make money in, inshallah. The other thing, so number 14 is that this is just kind of general advice too. So never you'll never really win an argument, and so you'll get in trouble with your teachers or school. If you argue with your parents, you're going to get in trouble. If you argue with your boss, you're going to get fired. So don't try to argue with people. Try to come to a solution, a win-win, you could call it. But don't argue with people. You're not going to win. 15th piece of advice is don't be afraid to ask and don't take no for an answer. Okay. So don't be like too persistent, but also don't be fearful of asking. You just have to ask. There's so many opportunities and things that open up when you ask. And so take advantage of those, inshallah. Um, Number 16, don't waste time. Okay, always look for ways to make progress, not just wasting time and complaining about things. Focus on finding a solution. Again, like I mentioned before, YouTube, Udemy, there's a skill, different websites that you could go to. So many different resources out there. Always try to grow in the way, in your knowledge, and you'll get better and better at things, inshallah. Um, Number 17, think about, the long term. So 5 years from now, is this going to matter? A lot of the things that we worry and get frustrated about and fight with people about are things that don't really matter. And if you just think like, I spilled this and I'm getting stressed about it, I'm getting frustrated about it, 5 years from now, am I even going to remember if that happened or not? Probably not, right? So the temporary pain doesn't matter. Make sure that you're thinking, long term, inshallah. Number 18, work smarter, not harder. Focus. Don't try to do everything yourself, right? So like drop shipping, right? Have a side hustle. Those types of things. Start having something that you could do. Skills again that you're learning and you could do on the side, inshallah, for extra income. Number 19, if you start really early, there's going to be a huge benefit because You're not going to be waiting until you're older to invest. So whatever little bit you can start investing in, especially over the years, it's just going to grow much, much more. And there's different things you could look up about this. But if someone starts investing when they're 16 or 18 years old, just I think it was $10 a month or $100 a month, that'll be about $1 million when they're 60, 65, right? So just that small amount over time builds up. Okay, so make sure you do that. The other thing, number 20, um, I'm getting my numbers mixed up. I think I'm 19 actually now. So, oh no, 19 was starting now and investing and beating procrastination. Number 20 is save for emergencies. And there's a book, I can't remember the name of it, but you could look it up, by Dave Ramsey. He has 7 baby steps, really, really great tips, especially for adults. Number one is like save $1,000 for your emergency fund. Number two is pay off all your, credit card and other types of debts. Number three is to save 3 to 6 months of your income. So if you lose your job, health, or something like that, you have some savings to help you. And I can't remember the fourth, fifth, sixth, fourth. I think it's something about investing 15% of your income and saving. Um, Anyways, you could look it up. It's 7 Baby Steps by Dave Ramsey. Really, really good tips that he shares. The other thing, and the last thing you could say, is growing your wealth with charity. Okay. Actually, I'll add one more to this, but growing your wealth with charity, there's so much barakah that comes when you give sadaqah first. Okay. And there's, I think it's called tithing. It's like basically Christians, they give 10% of their wealth before, so they give it for God before they give it to themselves or use it themselves. So using 10%, or it doesn't have to be 10%, it could be 2%, it could be 5%, but you have a small percentage of your wealth when you earn it. It's fi sabilillah, it's for sadaqah, and you give it away for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will bring so much barakah in all your wealth. And the last thing I want to mention is be smart. Don't just impulsive. I think I mentioned this before too, but don't impulse buy, right? Don't go on and Amazon, search something up, it comes up, and just buy it. That's what they want you to do, right? So be very careful in the way that you invest your money. I'm sorry, that you spend your money. Do some research. Shop smart. Go to 2, 3 different stores before you invest, inshallah, and this will help you stay away from those types of things, and like debt and other problems that a person has. Sorry, I'm just catching the comments now. Okay, so yeah, there's only 5 or 6 people today, but so there are. Let's see. Okay. Gambling to get is, if anyone has any questions, so I'm pretty much done with my list of things that we could do, inshallah, to help ourselves financially. And I think, let me find that one while I'm waiting, or for any questions, go ahead and post them, inshallah, on there. The other thing, with saving money, make sure that you're staying clear of interest that's haram. So a lot of people give these tips of compound interest and things like that, or investing with other people's money. Be careful with these types of things. You don't want to be held accountable on the day of judgment by investing with other people's money and losing it. And someone gives you an amana, you lose it, and then you're questioned on the day of judgment about it. So I found the 7 habits. As I mentioned, the first one was save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Number two was paying off your credit card and other debt, from smallest to most. It's called like snowball debt, right? So you start with the smallest loan that you have, you pay that as soon as possible, then you go to the next one, and you keep going until you have no debt. Um, Number three was save 3 to 6 months of expenses, so that if you lose your job or anything like that. Number four is investing 15% of your household income in retirement. Number five, save for your children's college fund. There's, I think, 403B or something like that. It's like a 401k, but it's for investing in your college, your student's college fund. And so you do that, and that's tax free as well, and you get it out when your kids are going to college. Number six is paying off your mortgage or your home early. I hope that you get it through guidance or housing, a halal option that's out there, and not just any bank loan. And then building wealth and give is the last one, number seven. And that was by Dave Ramsey. He's a Christian. So think about that. You know, a lot of people, when you have, this type of thinking, inshallah, it will benefit you a lot. Okay. The question, why should we save money? So excellent question. Why should we save money? Because this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I mentioned, He ordered it to go and look for the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. And just to have a balanced personality, and less stress in your life, you want to make sure that you're financially stable. Some people who, you know they're focused so much on spirituality, or they're focused so much on their family or other things, and they forget about their wealth, and so all of a sudden they lose their job or something like that, and everything just falls apart. They get so stressed that they start blaming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It hurts their spirituality, it hurts their family, it hurts like other aspects of their life, because they weren't being financially care or being careful financially. So you want to make sure that you're taking things, inshallah, in a sensible way, and so you're keeping a balanced personality. And so, and don't go overboard in saving either, right? So like I mentioned, the 7 points right now, the seventh really point was to build wealth and give, right? You want to leave a lasting legacy in this world, inshallah, right? And in the akhirah, a sadaqah jariyah for yourself. And so this way, by investing in the akhirah, right? That you have wealth, and that you could be a good role model, and you could invest, and you could give halal loans to people. Maybe someone's in student debt, and you pay off their debt, and they pay you back slowly, right? Or someone has another loan, and you pay them, you give it, and they pay you back. And so you're getting major ajr for this, a lot of reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we want to make sure that we do that. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, gambling is haram. So don't be going to Vegas or Reno or places like that, and thinking that I'm just going to take, a get rich quick. There's really no such thing. A lot of people that you think that they got rich quick, it's not real wealth. Okay, and so you have to be very mindful of that. Anyone trying to sell you that is most likely lying. So be wary of those type of people. Why should you save money for their own kids? I guess for their own kids. Um, you don't have to save money for them, but like for example, for their college education, if you want to help them, inshallah, when they're 18, 19 years old, so that you prevent them from falling into debt, right? Or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with so much money where you purchase a house for them, when you're when they're old enough, you get them married, so you save them from haram, right? That's the way I look at it, that you're protecting. If you're doing well for yourself, inshallah, you take care of your kids. Alhamdulillah, it's a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was able to get married, I was 21 or 22 when I got married, and the reason why was because my dad, alhamdulillah, he helped. We stayed with my dad for about 6 months or a year before we moved out on our own, and we were able to save some money on that in that way as well. So why not help your kids in that way, right? And so for college as well, you could benefit them instead of them taking loans. You have that money available, and you're helping them and do that, and they could pay you back if you want later, inshallah. Okay, so great questions. Jazakumullah khairan for attending. My time is up. It's 6:31 now, so at least in my time, and I look forward to more feedback from you guys. Again, the homework. Yesterday I covered Ayatul Bir, Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 177. Make sure that you're memorizing that. It is a little bit longer, so make sure you memorize it and recite it to me by memory, and send me a WhatsApp message. Inshallah, record yourself and send it to me. Tomorrow we have Sister Madiha Khurshid. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to be interviewing her, inshallah. So tomorrow, please make sure you tune in. It's going to be a really exciting lesson. I think I posted her bio. Really, really cool stuff. She plays varsity baseball with hijab, and goes to a high school. A really good student, volunteers with charities, and is very, very involved in the community, mashallah, in Roseville, California. So it'd be really cool for you to participate in that and watch that interview, and hopefully it'll inspire the youth to be more like her, inshallah, or be successful as well. Okay, with that, inshallah, I'll end. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, everyone. Enjoy your evening.